The world changed this week, and I don't say that lightly. The US government is restricting access to the best AI models on the planet. Hardware prices jumped 20 to 25% overnight. Apple raised prices on almost everything. RAM prices are getting insane, and Chinese labs are shipping models that rival anything OpenAI or Anthropic have built. Meanwhile, most people are still out here paying $20 a month for ChatGPT, thinking that they are all set. They are not. And when they decide to cut you off, as they already have with Mythos and ChatGPT 5.6, you are left empty-handed. Here's the thing nobody is saying out loud. There is still a window to get into local AI, where the models are good and getting better every month, where you can still build something that is completely yours. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to cover exactly what local AI is, why it matters more right now than it ever has, what hardware you actually need, what models to run, and the use cases that will genuinely change how you work. Let's go. Here's why this matters right now. Fable 5 dropped, ChatGPT 5.6 dropped. Both were restricted to hand-selected users approved by the labs and the government. The two most powerful AI models ever built, and you cannot access them. We have officially entered the age of hand-selected winners. The people with access to these models have a head start on the rest of us. But at the same time, I went to Micro Center to build out a new machine. I wanted 128 gigs of RAM, not even an insane amount by today's standards. That alone was over $4,000. Mac minis are pushing $1,500, and even the price of game consoles are increasing as historically they would decrease. Here's what I actually believe. We are in the last window where this hardware is obtainable for the regular person. Because think about what's coming. Humanoid robots, autonomous drones, millions of self-driving vehicles, every single one of those needs memory. That production hasn't started yet. When it does, you will not be competing for memory chips. You will lose that competition. So yes, prices are high right now, but I don't think we're anywhere near the ceiling. I think we're looking back at these prices someday as a cheap era. That's why I think the time to act is now. All right, so what is the actual difference between cloud and local? Just so we can walk through to better understand it. So for cloud AI, if you're thinking about pretty much anything you use, AWS, if you use Google Drive, if you're using your Gmail, you have the service and all of your information that you've ever saved, any keystrokes, all of that is saved on Google's servers or AWS's servers. So if we look at the cloud, when we're thinking about AI, you have your laptop, you're connected to the internet. The internet connects you to OpenAI and Anthropic's data center. So pretty much everything that you do is logged by them. So all of your prompts are logged. The company owns all of your data and the government can subpoena that. Whereas if you're thinking about local AI, you literally have your laptop and the AI model runs on a local device. So if you go buy some memory, you can run a local open source model on that device without the internet. You don't need to ever log in and it's always yours. So if you think about, if you have some memory, you can literally run a model on your toaster. And these models are getting better every single day. The open source ones, they're getting smaller, they're getting more compact, and you can still solve so many different use cases with them. But here's the big takeaway of cloud AI versus local AI. Cloud AI, you don't own it. It's owned by the company you're using. Local AI is something that you have forever and no one can pull the plug on your access to a model. And here are the 3 advantages of local AI. So if we're thinking about this, it's absolutely private. So it's completely yours. There are no logs. There is no company reading your conversations, looking at your data, how you're using it. It's owned entirely by you. Your data actually never leaves the machine. So the model runs on the machine and it's just there. And finally, if you have a business, you're not feeding your proprietary data to a frontier model. These models are looking at how you're using the software. They're seeing the way people are using it. Maybe they could come up with ideas. A lot of people think about, for example, Amazon. When Amazon initially launched, everyone was putting their products on there. Amazon looked at what consumers were buying, what producers were creating, and then you get Amazon Basics, and now you're competing with Amazon for the product that you built. And number 2, it's absolutely unlimited. So there are no API costs. You're not paying a subscription to Claude or OpenAI. How many tokens did I spend? How many tokens do I have left? You're literally just paying the electricity to run the model on your hardware. And you can literally send 1,000 prompts a day, or you can send 1,000,000 prompts a day. It's the same cost. And number 3, it's absolutely yours, right? So this cannot be restricted at all. It cannot be taken away. It's a local model. We saw how Mythos, Fable, ChatGPT 5.6 were pulled, and a lot of the conversation on the internet and by people who use these models a lot revolves around, for example, say you set up your business or some processes on a certain model, and then the model gets pulled a week later, or something happens to the model and you've already structured your infrastructure around that model. And then finally, you just have it on a piece of hardware. So if your toaster has memory, you can run the model on your toaster. It is strictly yours. It's literally on a piece of hardware. You can literally run it on your laptop. You can buy hardware for it, but it runs locally. I know what the pushback is. I hear it all the time. People say local models are dumb. They're slow. Why would I run a worse model when I can just use ChatGPT? You're not necessarily wrong. Today, a 70 billion parameter local model is not as sharp as Opus 4.8 on a hard reasoning task. It's just not. I'll be honest with you about that. But two things. First, the gap is closing faster than anyone predicted. GLM 5.2 just dropped, and I've run it head-to-head against Opus 4.8, and on most tasks, it's genuinely competitive. It's not quite there on the hardest stuff, but for 90% of what you're actually going to do day-to-day, writing, coding, summarizing, and research, it holds up. A year ago, that comparison would have been embarrassing. Today, it's not. Second, speed and intelligence are not the only variables. Unlimited usage and privacy changed the math completely. A slightly less smart model that runs forever for free and never logs anything could be more valuable for most workflows than a smart model you're paying per token for. That's not a consolation prize. That's a genuinely different and better tool for a lot of use cases. The gap will keep closing, the hardware will keep improving, and in the meantime, the unlimited and private advantages are already real today. Here are the 3 hardware tiers you need to run local AI. So we have tier 1. This is absolutely free. You can literally start today and spend nothing. If you have a laptop within the last 3-4 years that you've purchased it, and you have 16 gigabytes of RAM, you can literally run 7 to 8 billion parameter models. And these are really good for chatting, writing, summarizing, and really basic coding. So you can start today. Tier 2, we have $600 to $1,500. This, I think, over the coming years, as memory gets more expensive, as we're competing with robots and the AI build out, if you have a Mac Mini or a Mac Pro, you get 32 to 64 gigs of memory. You can run 32 to 70 billion parameter models. This covers coding, agents, your research, documentation work. And now if you think about between what you can do with coding, research, agents, the chat, the summarization, that is 99.9% of most people's use cases. And finally, tier 3, this is for the heavy users where you're going to spend a couple $1,000s. And this will, I believe, continue to get more expensive over time as we're competing with robots, autonomous cars, autonomous everything. You can get a Mac Studio, a GGX Spark, and now you're talking about a couple hundred gigs of memory. And this allows you to run 70 billion plus parameter models. And now we're talking about vision, multimodal, parallel agents. But the point is, you can start with what you have today. So if you have a computer with 16 gigabytes, you're ready to go. And here are the different open source models you can run. So at a beginner level, we have some Llama models. They're 3 to 8 billion parameters. You can pretty much run them on anything. They're very fast. They're very lightweight. They're a great starting model for really basic stuff. And at an intermediate level, we have Qwen and Mistral models between 25 and 35 billion parameters. They're great at coding, reasoning. They have really good benchmarks. You can also do chat summaries, and they're good for writing as well. And at an advanced level, we have GLM 5.2. These are very competitive. They're frontier competitive right now. They're improving really fast. We also have Deepseek. This is great for math, coding, analysis. This is a great open source model that's gotten really popular lately. And how to run them? You can run them on Llama. One command install, it runs on the terminal. You can use LM Studio. It's super beginner friendly. You can just drag and drop, or you can use Open Web UI. It has ChatGPT style interface, and it's layered on Llama. And all 3 of them are free. They're open source. I'll put links in the description if you want to get started. And here are some of the use cases for local models. So one friend has a security scanner. It's basically a local model that's running 24/7, and he's scanning APIs, databases. It's flagging vulnerabilities for him, and it will surface them all the time. If you compare this to actually running a frontier model or paying for a model, you're literally talking thousands of dollars in API costs. His cost is literally just the electricity and the hardware that he purchased. Another use case is an opportunity scraper. So I have a friend who's scraping Twitter and Reddit, and he's getting business problems surfaced to him. So just through the chatter and commentary, whatever people are talking about, when there is an opportunity to solve a business problem, he gets a ranked list of what business owners are talking about. So just think about that. You can have a security team, you can have a market research team that literally run 24/7. There's no salary, no sleep, no time off, and the only thing you're paying for is electricity. And this is only possible with unlimited AI on local models. So if your toaster has memory, you can have a market research agent running from your toaster. I want to say one more thing that I think gets overlooked in every conversation about local AI. It's fun. You're allowed to have fun. Building the machine, installing the model, booting it up for the first time, seeing it respond, it's genuinely exciting. It's tinkering. It's the same energy as building a PC or setting up a home server, especially when it's running on some of the most powerful technologies humans have ever built. That combination is hard to beat. And it's educational in a way that just watching videos about AI is not. When you run it yourself, you understand what context windows actually mean. You understand why quantization matters. You understand why memory bandwidth is the bottleneck. You build an intuition for this stuff that you cannot get from reading about it. And that intuition is going to matter more and more as the technology shapes everything around us. You can set up a chat interface that looks exactly like ChatGPT. You can give your local model a name and a face. You can build whatever you want on top of it. Complete freedom with the most powerful technology ever made. That's the pitch, and I think it's a good one. The window is open right now. Hardware is expensive, but still obtainable. Local models are good and getting better fast. The government has begun to restrict frontier access. The labs get to pick who they want to work with, and you and I are not on the list. But here's what they can't take from you: the model running on your machine, the agents working around the clock on your hardware, the intelligence you've built up in your own setup. That's yours. Nobody can restrict it. Nobody can pull the plug on it. And just building it out will teach you more about AI than anything you've ever done. And I'm not saying that you need to go out and spend thousands of dollars on hardware. I'm saying start somewhere. A Mac Mini, an old laptop, whatever you have, because you will gain more knowledge about how these models work when you do it yourself. And that knowledge compounds, and that becomes your advantage. The cost of entry is only going to go up as memory prices increase. The access to frontier models, I imagine, would only get more restrictive as we move forward. And the people building local AI skills right now will have an advantage on people moving forward because they will understand the tech in a way that is only possible when you build it yourself. Drop a comment below. Are you confused on any of the models, on any of the hardware you need? Like and subscribe to the video, and I'll see you in the next one.